Okay, this writing functions assignment, you're just taking the zeros and using the zeros to write a function. Now, if you remember, the zeros of a function are where the function crosses the x-axis. So here I just do a quick function. Here's my y-axis, there's my x-axis, and each of these intersection points with the x-axis are the zeros. Okay, so this 0 might be x equals negative 3. This one might be x equals positive 1/2, and this one might be x equals positive 5. I'm just making those up. But each of those zeros, if we have those zeros, we can use them to write the equation. Because if you remember, the zeros come from the factors. So the factor that comes from this 0 would be x plus 3. And the factor that comes from this 0 is going to be 2x plus 1. Minus 1, because you always have to change the sign. And then the factor that comes from x equals 5 is going to be x minus 5. So you change the sign. If it's a fraction, you put the denominator in front of the x. Because if you recall from the quadratics unit, you were solving them for equal to 0. So if you set this equal to 0, you would have to do the opposite. So you would subtract 3. So that's why I know if I go backwards, I need to change the sign. Okay, so each of these factors can be used to make the function. All right, so if I go over here to this example, here's the zeros. Now this mult here just means multiplicity. And what that means is it occurs twice. So you're just going to have 2 of those. So you could really just list out a second negative 3 over 2. All right, just because it says multiplicity 2. So there's not just one of them, there's 2 of them. All right, so then you're going to write your factors, and you just take each of your zeros and convert it into the factor. So the denominator goes in front of an x, and then you change the sign. So we're going to have 2 of the 2x plus 3's, and then this last one is going to be 5x plus 3. All right, and there we go. So there would be my polynomial. This says write a polynomial function of least degree. That just means don't add any x's. So with integral coefficients, so each of the numbers in front of the x's is going to be a whole number, not a fraction. Okay, so now once you got your factors, you just distribute. So distribute this into there. So we have 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times the 3 is going to be 6x. And then keep going. We have 3 times 2x, another 6x. 3 times the 3 is going to be 9. And then I combine any like terms within there before I do anything with this last one. All right, so I'm going to combine those 6x's in there and get 12x. And drop down the 9. And then once I've got that, I'm going to distribute into the last factor. All right, so that drops down, and now I distribute again. Doesn't matter which direction you distribute this. So I'm just going to keep going this way. So we have 4x squared times the 5x. It's going to be 20x to the third. 4x squared times the 3 is going to be 12x squared. And then move on to your 12x. So we have 12x times the 5x. It's going to be 60x squared. So I'm going to put that underneath the other x squared. That's right there. And let's ignore this down here. And keep going. 12x times the 3 is going to be 36x. And then move on to the 9. So 9 times the 5x is going to be 45x. And I'm going to put that underneath the other x that's already there. And then 9 times the 3 is going to give me 27. And now I simply combine any of the like terms within any of these. There's no other cubes, so drop the cube down. There's 60 plus 12x squared. So we have 72x squared, 45 plus the 36. It's going to be 81. And then drop to 27. Okay, so there's my polynomial. All right, so you just take the 0, turn it into a factor, and then multiply the factors. If it says mult, then there's that many of them. So like the one that I scribbled out there says mult 3, so there's going to be 3 of those. Mult 2 means there's 2 of them. All right, don't forget to change the sign. So if it starts positive, it's going to become negative. So that'll be x minus 3. And when it's a fraction, you put the bottom number, the denominator, in front of the x. And then change the sign, and then write the top number. So 3x minus 2, but there's 2 of those, so I have to write it twice. Then I just multiply them together, and I got my polynomial.